Good morning, students. So, in this video, uh, we are going to discuss about this embedded Linux. So, embedded Linux, that is fundamentals of embedded Linux. So, myself, Dr. V. Padmajodi, working as assistant professor, SRMIST, and my area of specialization is embedded systems, and my research work is based on hybrid scheduler design for cyber physical systems. So here in this video, so I'm going to discuss about the basics of Linux and the embedded Linux fundamentals. So under this part by part video I'm planning to post. So the part one, that is Linux essentials. So in that I'm going to discuss introduction to Linux, Linux file system architecture, Linux commands, user level, system level, text editors, vi text editors, gedit text editor, introduction to bash shell, shell programming, important system commands and its use, and demo Linux shell programming. So the thanks to the reference book, that I have referred. So before going to this Linux, so that is embedded Linux. So we should have a clarity what is this open source and closed source software. So one of the most important questions you need to answer when creating software, that is, under what type of license will this software be released? Whether it is open source, that is free, or closed source. So arriving at the answer, it will be a difficult journey. So you must determine what sort of protection you want to place on your code. So because you are the developer, so what sort of protection? Anybody can use of the code. Anybody can use only executables. What type of protection you want to give the code? So that, as well as what you will allow others to do with the software that you create. This part includes just one area, that is focusing on helping you to decide how to license your software. So the difference between closed and open source, that is protection concepts. So that is difference. It is the open source licenses. So that is what is the difference between this open and closed source software. That is open source protection concepts. And what is the difference between the primary, that is open source licenses. So open source means in what level, what degree it is open. So whether the user can reuse your code, or he can able to modify the code and reuse it, or he can able to modify the code and distribute to others. So in what degree it is open source means in what level it is. So defining the source code, mostly like the first question you need to answer, that is, will this be closed source software or open source? So first you should understand what is this open and closed source. So the software, again, you know what is a software. It is collection of instructions that are written in a programming language. So dozens of different languages exist in market: C, C++, Java, Python, and many others. This collection of instructions is referred to as source code. So you can see that is a code that is written in the C. So this hello world code written in the C program. So here this is what is the left side of the screen, that will be your C code, so that human can understand and he can able to write. So what is in the right side of the code, that is your compiled version of your C code. So that is your compiled and assembled version of your C code, that only machine or your processor can only understand. So here the comes into the picture what is open source. Open source means this, what is the source code that you written in the C, you can make it available to everyone. So if it is closed source means only this compiled portion that will be distributed to the others. So that human cannot understand, machine will understand. So this is what examples of that is your open source and closed source. So for example, the example of closed source software it include so Windows, Apple Mac OS, Adobe Photoshop. So and in the case of open source, it is Linux, Apache server, Firefox, JIT, OpenOffice. So these are all the examples of open source. So under what license you are going to release your code? So again, this open source means it's free, means that is it is not in the term of payment, okay, or so one way of defining the term free, it is the definition created by Richard Stallman and published by Free Software Foundation. So he defines 4 degrees of free, that is open source. So freedom zero means the user who is developed, that is who is developing, so he can able to run the program, so that is as you wish for any purpose. Freedom 1, so that is the freedom to study how the program works and change it, so does your computing as your wish. So access to the source code is a precondition for this. So freedom 2, so freedom to redistribute the copies. You can download the source code, you can redistribute to your friends. So and freedom 3, you can download, you can modify and redistribute to others. So these are all the different degrees of freedom that free means. So this is a definition created by Richard Stallman and published by Free Software Foundation. So these 4 freedoms they are at the heart of what is referred to as free and open source software. So this force attempts to address the challenge of defining what constitutes free software. So that is fact that not all the free software is not open source. Not all open source software is licensed with the 4 freedoms. What is the degree of freedom given in this free means open source means? So this what here visualizing this, okay, that is so here, so freedom means in under what, so whether the user can able to only utilize, he can able to only modify, can able to only distribute, or he can able to modify and distribute under what license you want to make your code. So this introduction to Linux. So this Linux is an operating system. So, Linus Torvalds wrote the original version of Linux while he was a student at the University of Helsinki in Finland. His work began in 1991, and in August of that 1991, Linus posted this famous announcement on comp.os.minix. Hello, everyone using the Minix. I'm doing a free operating system, just a hobby. It won't be big and professional. So for 386 80 clones, this has been brewing since April and it is starting to get ready. So I have currently ported Bash and GCC and things seem to work. This implies I will get something practical within a few months and I would like to know what features most people would want. Any suggestions are welcome. So this is the thing posted by Linus Torvalds during August of 1991. So since he posted this one again, many that is Linux has matured into a full featured operating system with robustness, reliability, and high-end features. So that rival those of the best commercial operating system. So more than half of the internet servers on the web they are powered by Linux servers. It is no secret that online search giant Google uses a large collection of low-cost PCs running a fault-tolerant version of Linux to implement its popular search engine. So, if you are going to develop software on a Linux based OS, then it will be important to know how to interact with and manage the OS. Basically, first, what is Linux? Linux is a piece of software called the kernel. So, that is an operating system. So, the kernel handles tasks such as booting the system, so and interacting with the hardware devices. So, by itself, the kernel does not really provide users with any functionality. So, the rest of the operating system consists of file system and a large number of commands that which provides users with full features. So although Linux is technically just the kernel, many people refer to the entire OS as Linux. In reality, the collection of software that makes up the OS is known as a Linux distribution, or in short we'll be calling it as a distro. So many distros are available, so like Ubuntu, Red Hat, so which often results in some confusion for new Linux user. So when coming to the embedded Linux, so you'll be using your Linux, and in a embedded, what is the term embedded means? So again, you will be using the Linux kernel for your project, for your processor. So embedded means, so here the hardware and software will be processed together. So here, so what is the processor embedded? What is the processor embedded in your system? So that is your embedded. So for that processor you are configuring your Linux kernel. So that is what here the term meaning of embedded Linux. So for your project, for depending upon the application, a high-end processor or a lower-end processor, whatever it may be, so that processor that you are embedding in your system. So for that processor, you are configuring your Linux so kernel. So and this configuring your Linux kernel for your target system, that you will be doing all the things configuring, compiling, assembling, linking, locating, all the things you'll be doing in your host computer system. That might be, for example, your laptop or your system, or your desktop. So and then the final executable you are dumping in your target board, target processor. You are cross compiling, cross assembling, all the things completing. So the final executable you are dumping in your target processor. So that you will be calling it as an, that is that, so you'll be using your, that context, it is referred to as your embedded Linux. So that working in a host environment and dumping all your things, so cross compiling, cross assembling, cross linking, locating everything, debugging, so in your host for your target processor, that you will be calling it as integrated development environment, IDE, integrated development environment. So here that comes into the picture of this here embedded Linux. So for doing this, should know the fundamentals of Linux. So that is what your part one, this unit one, it contains. So, what is a distribution? A distribution is a collection of Linux software that is maintained by an organization. Each distribution has features that make it unique. Some distributions are designed for general use, whereas other designed for a very specific use, like a firewall or a web server. So picking up the distro for your project, so that will take some time, that it will take some research. So the website distro.watch.com, it can aid you in this selecting your distribution. So before you can access a Linux system, you have to get one installed. So because each distro has a different installation program, the steps to installing a distro, they are separately, that is discussed as a part of that is a virtual lab along with this embedded Linux. So embedded Linux virtual lab. So in that video, so it is posted how to install, the steps to installing a distro, they are separately discussed. So the following should provide you with enough information to successfully install a distro. So consider installing the distro on a virtual machine. So several VM software choices, virtual machine are available. So what is this virtual machine? So again, this virtual machine, you can run your OS 2 operating system. You can run your Windows system itself. So you can install a virtual machine. So that virtual machine you can install with your Linux OS and you can make it run. So in that way you can able to access and you can learn your Linux. Okay. So in a machine, though even though you are working with the in your system with your Windows, you can install a virtual machine and you can install this Linux, any one distribution, and you can work on it. So, choosing the right distribution, it depends upon the cost. So, some distros are entirely free. Some distros they'll be charging for some features. So, and it also depends upon the features provided by the distributor and function. What is the functionality provided? What is the functionality needed for your application? So, what is the functionality provided by the distributor, and what is the support in development? So, these are all the some of the features you should consider when you are selecting a distribution, right? Distribution for working on you. So various distributions available. So they are primarily split into three primary families. Debian, so known to be the favorite of the hardcore Linux. Debian was one of the first Linux distribution. Popular variation of Debian include Ubuntu and Mint. So Red Hat, designed to be a commercial distro. Red Hat Linux was introduced shortly after the Debian distribution. It is now called Red Hat Enterprise Linux or HCL. So because it is a commercial distro, payment of license fee is required to use the RHEL, that is Red Hat Linux. So several free Red Hat distribution distros exist, including Fedora and CentOS. SUSE, so Slackware was the original founding father of this family of distros, but SUSE is most popular now. SUSE is like Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So OpenSUSE is a free variation in this. So how can you log into a Linux system? So via GUI, graphical user interface. So like in your Windows desktop, so you'll be having a graphical. So in the same way, you can use a graphical user interface. GUI based login appears by default or via command line. Administrators commonly do not install the GUI software on servers because it requires a huge amount of space. So on the server, so you can typically they'll be using a command line login, so or via the network, remote network, or through a network you can log into a Linux based system. So the login via GUI. So the software that allows you to log into a Linux system is called a display manager. Several display manager software programs are available, resulting in a different look and feel the login screen. So, in some ways, this is dependent on the distributor because the organization that supports the distro tends to favor one display manager or another. So, this is one of the default display manager on CentOS Linux or Mint OS Linux display manager. Whatever it may be the distro you are using, so in the screen, default screen, what are the icons? It will be almost one or less same icon you will be using. So you either select your name from a list or type your username in the dialog box, and it will be prompting to type your password. So and then you'll be typing your password, and then you'll be opening your, that is, screen. So in the same way, it will be prompting when by your display manager, you can shut down your system. So in both your CentOS, in Mint also, you will be having this file, machine, view. So this input, devices, help. So almost all the thing, that is your dialog box. So whatever it may be the distro, so it will be almost same features. So log in via the command line. So in most cases, you log in via the command line when the server you are working has no GUI. If your system has a graphical user interface, login via the command line is still possible. So holding down Control plus Alt buttons on your keyboard and pressing the F2 key, it should provide a command line login. So this is the example for command line login screen for the CentOS. So to log out of a command line environment, type exit and then press enter key. So to return to the GUI screen, press either Control plus Alt plus F1 or Control plus Alt plus F2. So this is your command line login of CentOS. So login via network. So login via network, there's a few techniques. So to log into a remote system via the network, so again, in this one logging in, either you can go for GUI or command line interface. So if you are logging into a Linux system from your Microsoft Windows, you have to install that is program called as Secure Shell Client Program as such. Secure Shell Client Program. So if you want to log in to a GUI, install a virtual network computing client program. So these are these things you should install, and then you can log in via the network. Log into a Linux system from a Macintosh system. So the Macintosh OS is Unix based, so some client tools should already be available. So you should able to open a terminal window and use SSH, that is Secure Shell Client command, to log into a Linux system via the command line interface, or you can log in using a GUI. So for that you have to install virtual network computing client program. So log into a Linux system from a Linux system. So you should able to use SSH command to log in. So these are ways to log into either command line interface, graphical interface, or using the network. So in this following example, the Bob user on the local machine logged into the machine named remote using the student account. So instead of a machine named, so an IP address it can be used. So here this one. So Bob on at Ubuntu. So this using the that is on a using that is SSH is using Secure Shell client. So program. So the student. So this login account, that is student account. So the machine name it is remote. So this how here. So for example, so here in this, so this one I had installed virtual machine first. So virtual machine installation I had put it as a separate part. So so here in this you can see this. So I had installed a virtual machine. So and I am using for to make the virtual machine to work. Any machine it needs a OS. So any machine means it consists of a processor. So for the machine to work, you need a OS operating system. Here I installed Ubuntu, that is your Ubuntu distribution. So I installed. So and here the virtual machine is Padmajoti, and this that is user is Padmajoti, and this virtual machine. So this what here starting. So using the GUI, so a small sample of available desktops include the following. So these are all the desktops. So so these are all the links for downloading. So variation in the desktop. So like I downloaded this Ubuntu. So here Cinnamon. So if which what is the how many bit processor you need for your application, your which system you are using. So Windows 8 or 10 or 11, depending upon that you have to download. So so this is your desktop choices. So what is the thing? So here like I shown in the Ubuntu, I downloaded. So Cinnamon or KDE or Mate. So this is your Cinnamon or Mate desktop. So here in this, I had downloaded this Ubuntu. So this Ubuntu machine. So coming to this, so this basic command line execution. So how to install this VMware? So not virtual machine. You can go for any other virtual that is machine also. So VMware or Oracle. So any VM install you have to install in your system, and any one distribution you have to install, and you can work on it. You can start working on the Linux. So that one I had put it as a separate part under the virtual lab. So although the GUI interface makes using the Linux easy, most users and administrators use the command line environment for the system task. So if you log into a system via GUI, you can access the command line environment by opening a terminal window. So this is the terminal window. So hit open. So this is your terminal window. Here you can see this. So this is the terminal window. So the terminal window is a GUI based program that launches a shell, that is a program that enables you to enter commands. So shell, what is a shell? It will act as the interface so that for the user to access your kernel. So it will act as an interface. So like any other programming language, your shell will also be acting. So it is also having a programming that is variables, syntax. So this is the typical terminal window. So like I had shown this my window, that is this is the typical terminal window. So the most common shell programs in Linux is the bash shell. So initial, what is the very first shell is the sh, and then bash or ksh. So the next command, so first unit, so we'll be seeing about the general using commands. So user based commands, system level commands. So this just a name of the command. So options. So list the files in the system means ls. So display, that is cat some file name, display the sum of the concatenated version of your file. So and options, option is a predefined value that changes the behavior of the command. So some cases ls means list the file in this machine, hyphen a means all. So hyphen l means long listed file. So that the arguments used to provide additional information to the command. So this is a for example of a command. So this is a cp copy. So hyphen r, it is an option under the slash etc directory, under that test directory. So that is copy this test to this under the home, under that work. So this is the command. So if you want to know more about the commands, you can type help, alias. So and this, so if you want to display the calendar, so you can type this calendar. So for example, here in my virtual machine, I am typing this calendar command. So it is displaying the current month. So displaying the 3 months calendar. So you can go for the man. Okay, that is your manual command. So so next coming to the, that is your file system architecture. So regardless, again we'll be seeing the some more commands. Before that, we'll see the how it is architecture. So for example, in your Windows, you will be having the entire hardware. It is divided into C, D, K, E drive. So under the each drive, you will be having the files. You will be segregating the files in Linux. So how the file system it is, how it is organized. So regardless of what you plan to use the Linux distribution, you need to know how to navigate the file system. So the file system is how the files are structurally organized into directories. So for example, in the Windows, you will be having the physical drives or assigned such as C or F. So instead of all the drives here in Linux, everything it will be placed under a single thing, that is your root directory. So root directory, you will be calling it as dot. So root directory. So the root directory is symbolized by the slash character, by the slash character. So this character is also used to separate directory and file name in a path. So think of path as directions to get to a file or directory. Suppose I am here in this the path slash home slash bob. So under this home, so that is under the root, under that, so under the slash, under the root, under that home directory, under that bob directory, under that this sample.txt file is located. So this is what how this file is organized under the Linux. Everything will be under one directory, that is your root directory. So some of the most used directories in the Linux slash home, that is a user's home directory. Each user has a directory under this slash home directory where she can store her files. So slash root, root users home directory. The system administrator account on the system is called the root user. So slash bin executables. Most of the commands you execute as a regular user are placed here in the slash user slash bin directory. So slash user slash bin. So executables, that is most of the commands you execute as a regular user, they are placed here in the slash bin directory. So similarly, slash sbin executable programs for system administrators. So executable the slash media, that is removable media, slash temporary files. So naming consideration, when you create a file or directory, so you should take into consideration this following guidelines. Files and directories, they have same name rules. Names are case sensitive. Here Linux, it's case sensitive. This means a file name text is not the same as a file name small d, that is data.text. So special characters are permitted. However, you should avoid using the white spaces and tab characters, and certain special characters, that is star, question mark, square bracket, dollar, ampersand symbol, exclamatory symbol. So meta characters or special characters to bash, and they can create problems when used in a file or directory name. So the slash character is used to separate files and directory names. So extensions are permitted but normally have no special meaning to bash. So there are some predefined names, that is tilde, it represents the current user's home directory. Dot represents the current working directory. Double dot represents one level above the current working directory. So this naming, this it is very important here. So this is how you will be accessing your file. So one level above means you have to use double dot. So navigating to a file system, when using the command line environment, you often need to refer to a directory structure to access a file or subdirectory. So when you first open a shell, you are automatically placed in your home directory, that is your root directory. So a common task is to switch to the working directory to another directory, a process called the change directory. So for that, what command you will be using is cd. So a path or path name is how you refer to a file or directory in the directory structure. So there are two types of path names. One is absolute path name, that is from the root, from that what is the directory, under that what directory, under that what directory, under that what file. That is your absolute. So another thing is the relative. So a path that starts from the current directory. That is, for example, if you are in the slash home directory and want to access sample.txt file under the bob directory, so then you can use bob slash sample.txt. So absolute paths always start with a slash character, but relative path never start with a slash character. So this what here. So using a path name. So in this example, you are in slash home slash Julia directory. You want to switch to bin directory under that user directory. So to switch directories, you can use the cd command, that is change directory. So and view the current directory, you can, that is print working directory, that current pwd command you can use. So the following example demonstrates using an absolute path. So here you can see this here in this example. So in this, So what is the current directory I'm working? So it will be displayed. To change the directory, you can go for CD. So this is how you'll be using this command CD and pwd. So here suppose you want to move from this home Julia to home Sarah. So here what is the that is change directory. So here CD slash home slash Sarah. So under the home, under that, so you have to go to change the directory from Julia to the Sarah. You can go. So if you are having like two or three directory under means, then you can directly go from specifying from the top. That is absolute way of mentioning the path. So if in the case of if you are some like 20 level deep under the root directory means, then it will be better to go by absolute path. So that is your relative method is easier to use if you are 20 levels deep in the example, 20 levels deep in the directory structure. So if you are having like 3 or 4 levels means, you can specify mention the name of the path. So if it is like under 20 level deep, your file some sample.txt is 20 level deep under the root means, then it is better to go by relative path. So this managing the file system. So this ls command list files in a directory. That is ls means list. So that is you can go for the cd slash ed change directory slash etc slash under that events directory. So change directory to this under the rom under the etc under the sound under that events directory. So now if you are changing, so it will be coming in the command window here like this. So now listing all the files in the event directory. So it will be listing. So here like this, you can go for this ls-a. So listing all the files under this events directory. So here in this, you have hidden files you will be having. So that is hidden files is not visible. So to view the hidden files also, you can ls-a tilde. So if you are typing, that hidden files also will be displayed. So here like this. So ls hyphen a all the files hyphen l long listing of all the files under the events directory tilde including hidden files. So for that command it will be ls hyphen a hyphen l tilde. So ls means what are all the files under the events directory. So Julia, that is user, that is your Mintos. So under that, under the events directory, under the home, under the etc, under the sound, under the events directory, what are all the files, list all the files under the events directory. Totally 48 files are there, only a snippet of is here it is shown. So here in this, you can see this long listing means, that is in this format it will be displayed. So the file name it is, so for example .config. The starting D means it is a directory, hyphen means it is file. So read write X. So read write X for the owner. Next one, read write X. Okay, reading permission, writing is not an executing permission. It is there. That is for group, or hyphen X for all others. So like this, a long listed of files it will be displayed. So this is the details of information provided by ls-l command. So already I told you. So the first part will be the hyphen or D. If it is D means the dot bash or C, that file name is a directory. If it is hyphen means that dot bash or C, that file is a file. So permissions, first three letters it denotes for group, that is user. For next three letters group, and next three letters for all others. So that is a hard link count. It is that is a link, that is a advanced thing. So reserved for the system administrators. that is a file that is hard linked and shares the same data block space with another file name. So that is related to the system administrator hard link count. And next part will be the user owner. Next part will be the group owner. Next one will be the file size and timestamp and what is the file name. This is the details of the information provided by the ls-l command. So here for example, so here in my system, so in this virtual machine, so displaying ls. So what all the files are there, it will be displayed if I am typing the ls command. So I want to type, so ls hyphen L, long listing of all the files, it will be displayed in this format. As I told you, so here this, for example, this VARAD Varat, it is hyphen, it is a file, so it is hyphen, so user, that is owner, he is having read, write and permission, that is hyphen, execute permission not having, and your group also read, write permission only, and all others only read permission only. So the next one will be the hard link count. Okay, the owner, it is Padmajoti, and what is the size, 69 bytes, and what is the timestamp, 26 September 2023. File name is Varat. So like that, long listing of files will be displayed. So to create a new directory, you will be using mkdir command, make directory. So and that is now we are using this mkdir command, creating one directory called as data. Now listing now all the files ls-l. So now a directory it is created. So now this includes 4 count. So ls, that is data now. So the what is the directory? It is now, suppose if you want to create a directory that is under this mkdir test slash samples. So because now you cannot create this directory. So why it is not created? Because here this test directory, so because it's coming as no such file or directory, this failure occurs because to make the samples directory in this test directory, the test directory must exist. So here you are using this test directory is not already available, so this coming like failed. So first you have to create test directory, another test directory you have to create sample directory using the mkdir command. So to delete a directory that is empty, you can use rm remove directory, rmdir command. So the rmdir command works only on the empty directories. If the directory is having any file, first you have to remove that file and then only you can use. So or you can use the rm hyphen r option to delete all the files in the directory. So rm hyphen r. So accidentally if you are using all that is rm hyphen r test means, then all the things it might be deleted. So when using rm hyphen r, you should be careful. So or you can go for this option. So whether there is rm hyphen r I, that command, that is events. So whether that is events directory, it should be removed or not, that is it should be removed. So it will be yes or no. So it will be asking an option. So it will be if you are giving yes, then it will be removed. So consider using the hyphen I option when executing rm hyphen r command. This enables you to pick which files you have to delete. So you can pick the file by using yes or no option and then delete it. So for example, you can do this here. So here, so this directory using mkdir command, I am creating on directory that is samplex. So sample directory. So now I am listing that. Now I can see this samplex directory. It is also there. So you can see the samplex directory. It's also there in my machine. So to copy a file, you can use the cp command. To avoid overwriting an existing file, use the -i option. Use to move the files or directory, you can use mv command, move. To delete the files, you can go for rm command. To create an empty file or update the modification timestamp of an existing file, you can use the touch command. So these are other some of the basic commands you should know when coming to the Linux. So now coming to wildcard characters. So basically three characters. Okay, that is the star, question mark, and the square bracket. So the star character represents zero or more characters in your file name. So when you are asking to see the files in the /etc directory that begin with zero or more characters followed by conf. So .com, using the star character, you can copy these files into a directory under your home directory. So you can see this. So under the ls-d/etc/ the star. So what are the files starting with the one or characters .conf? So it will be displayed. So what are the files under the etc directory with .conf extension? It will be displayed. So that is zero or more characters in your file name. So that it be represented by the star character. So under the list, ls denotes for that is list hyphen d, it is a option. Under the slash, under the root, under the etc directory, under that what are all the files that is denoted by star with extension conf, it will be displayed. So question mark, it represents a single character. So to display any files in the /etc directory that have file names that are exactly 4 characters in length, you can execute this following command. So ls-d/etc/ this 4 question mark means what are the files under the etc directory having 4, that is letters, it will be displayed. So that is your, and suppose, so if you want to match a specific character, you can use a set of square brackets. So the square brackets like this. For example, to match a file in the /etc directory that begins with A, B, C. So within the square bracket, if you are representing, so that is, it will be whatever the files it is starting with A or B or C under the etc directory, it will be displayed. So that is what match a specific character. Then you can use a set of square bracket. To represent a single character, you can use question mark. To represent one or more characters, you can go for star. So these are all the wildcard characters that is used in the Linux. To avoid having the contents of all these directories, use the -d option to the ls command. -d option tells ls command, if any arguments happens to be a directory, don't display what is in the directory, just show the directory name. So the next thing comes to the this word working with the directory and working with the files. So each command, next thing will be the redirection. So redirection means whatever the thing you are giving to the input, how it is redirected to the OS, how it is redirected to the system. So that is what redirection. So each command has three data streams: standard input, standard output, standard error. So that is standard input means the data that is sent to the command. So this is not an argument, but rather additional information that is being sent into a command. So typically this data comes from a user who is executing the command. Similarly, standard output, the data that is sent from the command. So standard error, the data that is sent from the command when an error occurs. So to redirect standard out, use the greater than character after the command. So for example, so what is the command here I am using is calendar 12 2000. So that is redirection. So greater than symbol, that is redirected to a file called as mycal. So now if you are using what is the content of mycal, so it will be displayed here. So this is what a redirection. So this is the same thing. So here You can use the redirection here. So this is what I am doing the redirection. So I am first using the calendar command. So calendar command output is just this current calendar it will be displaying. So now I am using the redirection symbol greater than and redirecting to a file name called as mycal. Now I want to display the content of mycal. So using the cat command. So cat mycal. So it will be displaying what is the content of mycal file. So to redirect standard out, you will be using this greater than. So similarly, so this so if you can use the greater than character when you want to create a new file or override the contents of an existing file. If you want to append to an existing file, then you can use two greater than characters. Like this you can use the two greater than characters. So initially the date, it is a date command I am executing. So the date command, it is redirected to my cal file. So now this date command, it is redirected to the my calendar. So this output of cal and date commands in the previous example, it is it will be the content of your now my cal file. This what redirection. So similarly, I can go for this that is tr command. It will be translating this lower to upper characters or lowercase to the uppercase characters. So this you can also redirect standard out into another command instead of your file. This is useful because many of the commands on the system perform filtering or paging functions. So this redirection is mainly used. So when you are viewing a large amount of file, so that you can, so if you are simply ls what is the content of the file mycal, so like thousands of lines are there in mycal means, so it will be going at 1 second, it will be going all the thing, and last page you can only able to see. So if you want to see page by page, then you can redirect the output to using more command, more or less command, so that you can view page by page. So the pipe, that is the character, this straight line, that is a piping symbol. The character is used to redirect standard out to another command. It becomes a standard in of the command to right of the piping character. So in this case, the more command which displays data one page at a time. So this process called as piping, it is useful when you work in a command line environment. So this shows how the ls command functions when piping is not used. If you are not using piping, as I told you, so this what are all the files? Some thousands files are there in your system. Then last like 20 lines only you can able to view in the system. If you are giving the output of the ls-l to the more command and giving that standard out to the screen, then you can view page by page all the files, you can view it. So this process you will be calling it as the piping. So this ls-l command with piping. So the file command, so before you attempt to view the contents of a file, first make sure the contents are in the text format or in some other format. So Linux supports many file types, so including compressed file, database, executable code. So the cat command, so to determine what type of contents a file contains, execute the command, that is cat command. So just now we had executed the cat command. So to view the contents of a small file, the cat command, it works well. So a useful cat option for developers is the -n option, which is used to number the lines. If you are using this cat -n display.h, so this display.sh file will be, what is the content? It will be numbered. So that is here this numbering. So more or less command. So the problem with the cat command comes when trying to display large files. So you will discover that it does not pass at any point during display of the file, but rather scrolls fastly, and it's like as if you had some superhero spread speed reading skill. So to pass the display while displaying the content of large file, use the more or less commands. So the more or less commands, they are also useful for passing the display of a command that produces a large amount of output. So under the slash ls -l slash etc, it will be piped, okay, to the most. So you can, under the etc directory, even some 200 lines are there. So you can view 2020 by line, you can able to view it. These are all some of the options along with this command. Head and tail commands, sometimes you want to display only the top portion of your file or the bottom portion of your file, so then you can go for the head or the tail command. So by default, if you are not mentioning along with the command any number, means then it will be displayed. Head means simply it will be head display.sh, means first 10 lines of the display.sh will be displayed. Tail display.sh means last 10 lines of the display.sh will be displayed. So like this it will be displayed. Next one, word count command. So this word count, it is used to find out so how many words, how many lines, how many characters are in the file. So for example, word count display.sh means the output displayed is the number of lines, that is the number of words, number of bytes that are in the display.sh file. So you can limit or modify the output of the word count command by using the following options. That is -c means it will be displaying the number of bytes in the display.sh file. -m means display number of characters in the display.sh file. -l means it display the number of words. So this is the word count command, WC command. So finding the files in your system, you can find it using find or locate command. So so the locate command, so early each morning a database is created that contains a list of all the files and directories on the system. So the locate command is used to search this database. So to find linux.words file, execute will be locate linux.words. So it will be displaying what are all the files with words under that, so it will be displayed. So the locate command, it is useful, but it does have a couple of drawbacks. One drawback is recently search that is created, that is in the day, it won't be displayed. So if you lose a file that you created today, the locate command won't be able to find this file. So in this case, you can go for the find command. It searches the live file system, which takes more time than using the locate command. So it is much faster. So it does find files that are currently on the file system. So you can go for to find the files that is created or used. So you can go for find and locate command. So again, another option, another advantage using find command is it is provided with options. So that is -m minute n. So display that were modified n minutes ago. So it will be displaying the files that were modified n minutes ago. -m time n, display the files that were modified n days ago. So -size n, display the files of a given size represented by m. So hyphen group name, so display the files owned by the group name. So these are all the advantage of find command over the locate command. So this next one, the CMP command, that is compare. So if you only want to determine whether two files are different, not how they are different, then use the CMP command. Based on the output of the following commands, the display.sh and show.sh contain identical content results in no output when CMP is executed. So you can see for this one, display.sh, present.sh, show.sh. So now compare this. So the compare if you are using the compare command, so it is displaying, so display.sh file and present.sh, it is differing in byte 66 line number 5. So it is useful in comparing two non-text files. So the diff command, it is also to see the how two text files differ. Also, if you are replacing this line with this, then the both the files will be similar. So these type of outputs you can get it from the diff command. So the next thing will be the shell variables. So just like the programming languages use the variables to store the values, so the bash shell also stores critical shell information in variables. What is a shell? Shell in kernel shell scripting means. So here in this our shell, it will be acting as an interface. It is used as an interface to access the kernel, Linux kernel. So, like instead of going for languages, you can simply write the shell scripts and you can make the task automated. So, what daily as an administrator, you can make the task automation using the shell scripts. So, just like programming languages use the variables to store the values, the bash shell also stores critical shell information in variables. To create a variable, use the syntax variable equal to value. To display a variable, use the echo command, and to place a dollar character in front of the variable name. So here in this, the variable that is editor, so that is equal to vi. So if you are want to display the variable, you will be using the command echo command, echo dollar. So you have to use the dollar symbol in front of the variable, so dollar editor that variable, so that, so it will be va, it will be displaying. So to display all the variables, use the set command. So there are many predefined variables, so you might want to pipe the output with more or head command. So aliases, so if you want find yourself using the find command daily to search a system for new shell scripts, you can go for this find command. So you can go for this history command. To what is the history, that is last five commands. So last, that is five commands means history piping, so that is tail. So that is last five commands, so it will be listed. So so viewing permissions. To view the permissions of a file or directory, use the ls-l command. So you'll be having the long listed file. So that is hyphen or w, that first three, it will be denoting your user, that is access. So that is or w hyphen. So hyphen means first hyphen, or d means hyphen means file, d means directory, or w hyphen means user, he is having read write permission, no execute permission, or hyphen hyphen means group having only read permission, so no write no execute permission, and third one all others not no permission on this file. So that is what the first 10 characters of the output denote the file type, that is your first letter will be the file type, that is file or directory, and the permissions for the file. First one will be the user, three. First one letter will be the file type, and next three will be for user permission. Next three will be for group owner, and next last three will be the all others. So this read or write or execute permission. So here in the reading or writing, you will be having two sets. So one is this like this octal number, like you can use either symbolic permission, you can change it, or you can go for the octal. So for changing the permissions, you can go for this octal method. Octal method means if you are using this, that is 8 numbers, that is 0 to 7. If you are spacing ch mode 7 means that file name means, that is 754 means that user, he will be having only this that is all read write execute. Group will be having only, that is read and execute, and all others they will be having only read permission. So that is so this is what you can change the file permission. So by using the chmod command, you can change the permissions of a file. by using the octal number you can change the permission, or you can also change the permission using the symbolic way. In the symbolic way means you can go for ch mode. User means that is u plus that file name, group means g plus, or to remove means it will be g minus. You can, so like that you can change it either using symbolic way you can change the permission, or in the octal way you can change the permission. So for others means you can put ch mod o, that is plus means that is that is your read, minus means write, equal to means that is others. So file compression commands. So you can go for zip and tar command. So to that is the purpose of zip is to create a compressed version of your file. So it replaces the original file with the compressed version. So if you are going for this gzip command, so linux.words, you can see this so this compressed version. So the bytes it contains initially this 495360 bytes, and now after using the zip command, the bytes it is occupied by the linux.words, it is 1476083. So bzip and bzip2, it is also again the file compression commands. So so tar command, this tar command and this gzip, bzip commands, they are great. So what is the difference between tar and the previous zip commands? If you are going to create a tar file, okay, if you are creating a bunch of files together, so a single file means you can go for gzip or bzip. So if you are going for a bunch of files together compressing means you can go for tar command. So this using tar command. So grep command to match the pattern. So you can use it as a filter to match a particular pattern of a file. So you can go for the grep command. So the text editors. So like in your in either languages, so you need a editor in OS. So in the Linux OS, you need a editor to type the program. So to edit the program, so many editors are available. So VI editor, Vim, Nano, these are and gedit, these are all the some of the editors. So this why this vi editor it is preferred, because it requires no GUI, it is a very stable standard. Vi it is always there in all the almost all the distribution, the speed is good. So these are all the some of the VI commands. So to copy, and what are all the VI services, okay, that is provided. So to enter in insert mode, so that is while in the command mode you cannot insert new text into your document because all the keyboard keys are assigned to the command task. To insert new text, you must use S command to move from the command mode to the insert mode. So these are all the commands include the following. So these are all the some of the movement commands in the when using the VI editor. So commands move, that is VI editor commands. These are also some of the VI editor commands. So similar way you will be using the gedit and a kwrite. These are all the editors you will be using. So GA based editors. So more editors, you will be having Lime, Bluefish. These are all the editors. So that is for editing the text file. So what are all the ways to gain access to the root account? Either you can log in directly as a root user, use the su command, or use the sudo command. So su means switch user. So that is your so to display the disk usage, you can go for this df command. So disk usage. So what is which disk? What is the size? What is the used? What is the available? So you can go for this df command. So how to manage the software in the yum RPM? These tools enable you to manage software on the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. apt-get and dpkg, so it is used for Debian Ubuntu distributions, and zipper and rpm to manage SUSE and SUSE based distributions. So to install a package on a Debian based system, use the apt-get install command. You can go for this apt-get install command. So user add, to create a user account and execute the user add command. So you can use this user add, that is Julia. So so to create a user called as Julia. So after creating the user, assign the new account with your password by executing the password command like this. So it is asking for a password. So new password, retype the new password. So to modify the user account, you can use the command user mod. So to create a new group, use the command group add. So the next thing will be the shell bash shell scripting. So the primary benefit of bash scripting is that you can use everything that is available in the bash shell within a bash script. Because your Linux distribution has hundreds of commands, each of which can be used in bash script, bash shell scripting can be a very powerful tool. Like any other programming features, you can use variables, loop controls, exit status, and ability to source code from other files. So, what is the disadvantage? It is some advanced programming features such as object-oriented programming. It lacks, so it is slower than executing other languages. So to start the bash script, enter the following as the first line. So for any shell scripting, what is the first line of the shell script? It should be the this ash exclamatory mark slash bin slash bash. So if your bash shell is installed in your distribution, Ubuntu or Red Hat, if you are installing only this line works. Otherwise, you can default shell, it will be sh. Okay, bash will be the advanced version of your sh. So otherwise you can go for this ash, that is explanatory mark slash bin slash sh. This should be the first line of any shell script. So for example, so you can create a shell script that is hello world. So here, so you can type the history command, so to see what are all the things, what are the commands you had used previously. So now I am using a editor, that is nano editor, to create a shell script called as demo.sh. So now I am opening a editor, that is nano editor. So now once you are opening the editor, so for that nano editor, what are all the commands are there, that only you have to use. So now what is the thing here in this program, in the shell script? So what should be the first line of the shell script? That explain ash explanatory mark slash bin slash bash. If your bash is installed, you can use slash bash. Otherwise the default shell, it will be sh. Okay. What is the program I am doing is echo. SRM echo means it will be echo command. Simply it will be displaying whatever the thing word is following. So now to come out of, to save this, you can type Control O. So that is file name, to write demo.sh. Now press enter. So wrote only 2 lines in the shell script demo.sh. Now I want to make it, so that is to come out of this nano editor. What is the command is Control X. So I am coming out of this. So now I want to make the shell script demo.sh executable. So for that I am using the command chmod. So that is plus x demo.sh. So now what is this? Plus means that is your user. Okay, that is make it for the user, make it executable. So that is your changing your, that is permission, that is of the shell script demo.sh. So now make it executable. So you are making it executable. So now enter. So now what is the output? You can run it. So it is simply displaying SRM. So this is how you will be writing a shell script. So this is how you will be writing the shell script and a bash shell script, and you have to save it with the .sh. Using any editor, you have to save it, and when writing in the editor, you have to use that editor commands. So you have to save it. Now where here I had shown, I had used your nano editor and saved it using control O, and then to come out of the nano editor, control X, and then I make it executable, and I am running the shell script. So it is simply displaying SRM. That is the shell script I had written. So this is what you will be writing a small shell script and making it executable. So like any other languages, you can use in your shell script conditional expressions like if, then, elif, or you can this. So this is the sample if statement to display. So this is the first line, default line. It should be slash bin slash hash if dot sh. So what is to display the color? So it is blue. Echo, it is blue. If the input variable color it is blue, means it is blue, it will be displaying blue. If the input variable color they are giving us red, means it will be displaying red, else it is displaying no idea what this color is. So like any other programming language, you can go for loops if using if or while loop or conditional expressions, for loop or case statement. So this is an example for this case. So this, thank you. So I hope you have understood this basics of Linux fundamentals. So in the further part, we'll be seeing about how we will be writing the C program and how we'll be compiling and running in the Linux. So device driver concepts, process and thread creations, and how to debug the code. So in the further parts, we will be seeing. So again, along with this, I'll be posting the video. So that is our virtual lab. So in that, how you can do these experiments, installing your VMware, Ubuntu or Red Hat distribution, and then you'll be executing the commands. So writing the C code, writing the shell script, making it executable. So how to debug the commands, how to write the code in the C, and you can able to compile and run in the Linux. So as a that is virtual lab, I'm posting. So okay, thank you students. So if you are liking this video, so you just click the like.